Shalom and Hag Sameach. Today is the 7th night of Hanukkah, and it's also Rosh Chodesh Tevet. And I just wanted to share a few thoughts I had about Hanukkah, some of the lessons that I learned during the week. This whole week has been the week of Hanukkah, the festival of dedication. It started on the first day of the week, and today is Shabbat. So the whole week was the set-apart festival. And it was a bit of a trying week for me personally. A couple of battles to go through, a couple of stressful moments, stressful days. And I found out today, after Shabbat service, just having a conversation with a few people, some family, I wasn't the only one. A few others had gone through some things this week, and just kind of a tough week for everyone. And I shared a few words, but I just kind of wanted to express things a little bit more. You know, Hanukkah is all about gratitude. That's kind of the theme of Hanukkah. It's about giving thanks. And during the festival of Hanukkah, in the Shemona Esrei, the Amidah, there's an extra section added into the Thanksgiving blessing. And it says, for the miracles and for the wonders and for the battles and for the salvations that you wrought for us. And so it's all about Thanksgiving during this holiday. It's about set apart days, that the other stuff that's going on, sometimes it just infiltrates you a little bit, but that's the meaning of this set apart festival, gratitude. That's the theme of this set apart festival. And it's like everything wanted to fight against us this week to keep us from that feeling of gratitude, that feeling of thankfulness. So many battles that we faced and that came up against us, and it tried to steal away that moment of gratitude. And it kind of, what I learned this week, a new understanding that I never heard before. The Parsha this week, the Torah portion this week was Parsha Miketz. And it talks about Pharaoh's dreams and how Joseph was brought out of prison and he interpreted those dreams. And the dreams were 7 fat cows came out of the river, and then 7 skinny and emaciated cows came out and they consumed the 7 fat cows. But then they looked as if they didn't eat anything at all. And then there were 7 fat and healthy ears of corn, and 7 withered and skinny ears of corn came up and devoured and overtook the healthy ears of corn. And what I heard, a new take on that I heard this week, was we can't let the negative devour the positive in our life. You can't let the negative things eat up the positive. And that's what happens so many times. We have so much good in our life, but the second some little negative thing comes along, it's like all the good is gone. It's like when the skinny cows ate the fat cows, it looked like they never ate anything. They were just as skinny as before. That's what happens when a negative thing pops up, and then it's like all the good is gone. Like it was never even there. That's how our mind works sometimes. We get so focused on that negative thing, and all the positive is gone. And we can't allow that to happen, but it happens so often, and that's the battles that we face. It's the battles that come against us. And yet there's outside battles, but the battles in our mind as well, to beat away the negative and not allow that negative to devour all the positive and good. And especially during this season of Hanukkah and throughout the rest of the year, we have to remember the good. We have to remember all the salvations that he's done for us, all the positive and good things, all the blessings that we have in our life. Every little thing we have to be grateful for and give thanks for, and not allow those negative things and the issues that come up, because we're going to face things. There's going to be issues in our lives. There's going to be problems. There's going to be situations, because that's just the way life is. There's ups and there's downs. And if there aren't ups and downs, if we're always on the up constantly, then we're probably not growing spiritually, because the whole point of the downs and the bad things is to get us to grow and to get us to change and to get us to become the people that Yah wants us to be, and to be on the path that he wants us to be on. So we have to go through those valleys. We have to go through those issues and things, but we have to go through it and triumph over it. And while we're going through it, what really sees us through those dark moments is the spirit of gratitude. when we can say thank you through it all, then that moves us through it that much quicker and that much better. And it'll be over so much quicker if we can just keep that mindset of gratitude. But that's the battle to keep the mindset and the heart of gratitude through it all, through all the lows. And that's what Joseph did. That was his plan. He had 7 years of plenty, right? And he stored up during those 7 years of plenty. So when the 7 years of famine came, he had enough to carry him through. So we have to pull a Joseph. When we go through the famine, through the bad parts, we have to take from the good times in our life and pull it through, and it'll see us through the dark times. You see, we have to pull a Joseph. We store up all that good things and we keep it in mind, and we give thanks every time something happens, and we store it in our minds and in our hearts, and we draw from that every time we go through the valley, every time we go through a moment, every time we have a situation, every time we have a problem. We draw from that plenty, from the good times, and let that gratitude swell up in us. And that's how we win the battle. That's our weapon when we're in that battle against those negative things and trying to fight our way through it, is the gratitude to just stop and give thanks. And it is hard, but it's how we win the war. And when you think about the story of the Maccabees, sometimes when we hear the story of Chanukah, it makes us think, oh, they had one big battle and it was done. No, it was a long fought war of the Yahudim led by the Maccabees against the Greeks. It was a long fought war with many battles. That's why throughout our life, we're going to have many battles. We're going to have many ups and downs. If we're trying to grow spiritually, we're going to have the ups and the downs. But we have to take from the ups and let it carry us through the downs. We have to pull a Joseph. Pull a Joseph. Store up those good things and let it carry us through the negative. Don't allow the negative to devour the positive. That's the battle that we have. And that's how we can maintain joy. I was reading, there's a little book I have. It's over there. But anyway, it's a book called Azamra. And that's a basic teaching by Rabbi Nachman. And I haven't finished it yet, but just the first section that I've read through so far. One way to create and maintain joy is to always see the good points. To always see the good points, to see the good points in ourselves, to see the good point in others, especially always focus on the good points in others and see the good points in life. When you see the good points, that's what generates the joy. And when you see the good points, that swells up that joy and that gratitude, and that's what brings us through the hard times. So when we start to feel the negativity, when we start to feel all the negative emotion that come with going through things, when we just go through life and stress hits us, depression hits us, anxiety hits us, whatever hits us, then we look for the good points. Look for the good points in our life, look for the good points in ourselves, look for the good points in others. If the issue is with another person, look for the good points in them. And give thanks to Yah for the good points in that person. If it's a relationship issue, look for the good points and thank Yah for the good points in that person. If it's a situation issue, look for the good points in that situation. Look for the good points in your life. Whatever it may be, look for the good points. And that generates the joy and it brings forth the thankfulness. And that's what carries us through the negative times. That's how we triumph over the Greeks. That's how we triumph over the bad times, and we can maintain the joyfulness that we're supposed to have. It's a battle. It's a war throughout our life to keep battling that. And I think the more that we do it, though, the more that we practice it, put it into practice to look for the good points and to focus on gratitude, the more we put that into practice, the better things we'll get and the better we'll get at it. The more we practice gratitude, the more gratitude we'll have, and we'll be able to just generate more and more gratitude. The more we focus on the good points, the more we'll be able to see the good, and the more joy and gratitude we'll have. So we put it into practice daily, and then it becomes easier and easier and easier. And then eventually we'll see that even when we have these points in our life, these negative times in our lives, even when we have these these situations or whatever that we're facing, that we'll get through it a whole lot smoother. When we exercise the muscle of gratitude, we'll get through the low points a whole lot better, a whole lot smoother. So let's start that practice. Now it's Chanukah, it's the season of gratitude. Let's start putting it into practice. We can start saying some psalms, reading Hallel, reading the Amidah every day, especially focusing on that Thanksgiving blessing, the Thanksgiving portion of the Amidah. Focus on gratitude, focus on things that are good. And when the situation pops up, because it's going to challenge us this week, especially during the week of Hanukkah, when that situation pops up, remember the gratitude, remember the good points, and don't let the negative devour the good. Don't let the negative devour the good. Pull a Yosef, drawing all the good from times past, and let it see you through. Okay? All right, shalom. Have a wonderful day.